Hello everybody, and welcome. This is my kitchen in Manhattan, and I thought this would be a good diversion for all of us in the crisis that we're all in, and I hope that you and all your families are doing well through all this and staying safe. So tonight's menu, we're going to do a pan-seared ribeye steak with a cheddar mashed potatoes to go along with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is just slice this onion up. When you're ready to saute, you want to have a nice hot flame. We also have some water going for asparagus over here. While those pans are getting hot, we're going to slice this onion up. We're going to take this other onion over here, and we're actually going to grate it. And this is going to be for our cheddar and onion potatoes. And all you need is a little bit, because we're only doing for a couple of people here. We're only doing 2 potatoes. Next, we're going to take our potatoes, and we're going to cut these up and put them in a cold pot of water, just like this. We're going to cook them till they're tender. And these, of course, are for our mashed potatoes. I'm going to add some salt. Plenty of salt to the water because potatoes absorb a lot of salt. I'm going to keep some of that flavor in there, and of course, we're going to season later as well. Put those on, and in the back we have boiling water for the asparagus. Blanch the asparagus first, so we'll cut these off. You can use these for soup. And in order to make any green vegetable really green, you want to also salt the water really well. And that helps the vegetables hold their green. So you want to pop these in for a few minutes so they're nice and green and tender. And then when they come out, we're going to put them in this ice water right here. So we're going to ice shock them. And later on, we're going to saute them with our shallots, garlic, and some olive oil. In the meantime, let's take those onions that we had from before, and we're going to saute those. Keep them aside, and then we'll clean this pan. We'll do the mushrooms, and then we'll clean this pan and we'll do the steak. So you notice my pan is very hot to start with. You don't want to throw onions in a cold pan. We're trying to cook them quickly without burning them. Here are our asparagus. They're getting nice and tender and green. Just a few more seconds on those. We're going to give them another cooking once they're in the saute pan. So they just need to be blanched, a little bit tender, and make sure they're green. So then I'll take them and I'll put them in our ice bath here. That'll cool them down completely. Help them to retain that nice green color. And we'll continue to do our onions until they get nice and golden brown. And then we'll cook our mushrooms. You want to add a little bit more oil. By the way, tonight I'm using safflower oil. It's a high heat oil. I like it from Spectrum, Whole Foods. Really good quality, neutral flavor, so it's not going to affect your food taste, but it's going to saute nice. We'll use a little bit of half and half on these. And again, we'll saute those so they're nice and golden brown. We'll mix them with our onions. Later on, we'll reheat them to serve the steak. So as we're waiting for our pan to heat up really nice for our steak, we're just going to throw together our garlic butter. Just taking like a half of a, figure a quarter pound of butter here. Our nice Irish butter, Kerrygold, salted. If you don't use salted, then make sure you add extra salt to your mixture later. We're going to add a little bit of garlic here, or a lot of garlic, because we're calling it garlic butter. We'll get our parsley. First, I'm going to mix this in really well, and then after this, I'll put it into the fridge because I want it to be a little harder when it goes on my steak, so it melts nice and doesn't fall apart into liquid real quick. So I'm going to add a couple of little sprigs of parsley, chopped parsley that is. salted butter, we might add just a little touch of salt. Okay, we're going to sear our steak. The most important thing about a steak is the searing and the seasoning. What you want to do is put plenty of salt on both sides, more than you think you should. Then the pepper, then flip. Plenty of salt again. Where you think you're doing too much, just do it. It's going to make a difference in your steak and the flavor. Add your pepper. And then your oil. Very hot pan. Oil. I like pan searing steaks. I think it gives it a nice caramelization. The grill is nice, of course. But of course, if you do grill, same thing. You want to make sure you season the meat well and make sure it's very, very hot. So you can see that's pretty much smoking. You want to put that in there, and you want to leave it until it's really, really, really caramelized on one side, and then turn it over. If you want to peek every once in a while, you can, but be patient and leave it. I think our steak's just about ready. Just take a little peek. Up, looks good. Give it a turn, and then you want to do the same thing on the other side. Nice and caramelized. I'm looking over here too. I see my potatoes are just about done, pork tender. We can leave those for now. We're just going to leave them in the water, keep them hot. Once we put the steak in the oven, we're going to put a timer on for about 10 minutes. Because it's a thin steak, it's not real thick. We want medium rare. And if we're going to put it in hot, it's not going to take very long. And while that's cooking, we're going to do our potatoes. Make sure we have our garlic butter ready, our mushrooms and onions, and our asparagus. All that can be done in 10 minutes while the steak is cooking. We have an extra 5 minutes at the end because we're going to let that steak rest for a few minutes. Okay, so our potatoes are done. I'm just going to drain them real quick here. Make sure we get plenty of that water out. We don't want our potatoes to be mushy and watery. We'll let them sit down there until they dry a little bit. But in the meantime, we can take the same pan, put it on the fire. I'll cook these onions just for a second because it's the only chance they have to get cooked. We're just going to cook them for a minute or two, just so we take that sharpness away. We'll add our scallions as well. Plus, we're heating up the ingredients. We're going to have some cream also, really half and half. You could use milk. We're going to heat that up as well, so that when we put our potatoes in, everything stays nice and hot. We're going to add our potatoes. And then we'll use our potato masher. It's like most of you had when you were young. Everything's nice and hot. Lower our light down just a little bit. Then I'll add the cheese and the butter. That'll bring a little bit more liquid, of course, with the butter. So we don't need to add more cream yet until we take a peek after the cheese and butter is mixed in and melted. You see we have a nice color on there, good flavor, nice consistency. Most important now is, of course, our salt and pepper we're going to add in. Plenty of salt, plenty of pepper, and mix well. And have it nice and hot on the flame. At this point, you can turn your light off. Continue to mix. So get no lumps in there. You shouldn't have any lumps because we're dealing with boiled potatoes. And we're golden. I took our garlic butter out of the fridge. I added some to our steak. I'm letting it rest for a good 5 minutes. In the meantime, we're getting our mushrooms and onions hot again. So I'll pop those into the saute pan over here. Hear that sizzle, nice and hot. That'll get every everything mixed up nice and warm and hot, tasty. Then we'll take this pan, we'll add a little bit of our olive oil. We're going to take our asparagus, our shallots and garlic. Saute those a little bit first. So they're a little bit soft. Touch more olive oil. Add our asparagus. Saute them around a little bit. Season with some salt and pepper. Voila. I wish you all the best. I hope you all stay safe, and thank you.